gentlemen, boys and girls, fans of the Preacher and the Prodigy podcast, we have made it to the best week of the college football regular season. The final week of the college football regular season is week 14, a.k.a. Rivalry Week. We are here. It is Thanksgiving week.
Easiest to watch, hardest to pronounce.
Oh, man. Rivalry, it's like rural. Like, you can't pronounce it correctly. We have NFL games lined up tomorrow. We're recording on Wednesday. Thursday, we have Packers and Lions. Friday, we have the Egg Bowl. We have the Heroes game. And we're going to pick, and a few other Friday games we're going to pick. And then Saturday is the big day, especially for us as Michigan fans, because it is the game where...
Old Oaken Bucket!
Oh, man. Not going to pick that one. Too big of a spread. But we are here ready to go. Not sure of how we did last week. I didn't really check, but we can add those up.
Sure, we both went 5-0.
Of course. Not me. I've worn the trash can too many times. We will add those up as we go into conference championship week.
We both got Michigan wrong.
We did both get Michigan wrong. You said that... I think we both said that Michigan was probably more than 14 points better than Maryland, but we just thought situationally that wasn't going to be the case, and Michigan didn't really miss a beat. Bryce Underwood looked about as good as he did all year. Looks really solid. There were garbage times, touchdowns, but overall, 45-20, nothing to get too mad about. Kind of maybe playing a shell of yourself. Because as the game we're going to talk about later is up on deck. So let's get started. We're going to pick 3 Friday games and then 3 Saturday games because this is what Thanksgiving weekend loves to do to us. We're going to start out in the Old Farmageddon, the new Heroes game between the Iowa Hawkeyes
Is the new
and Nebraska
Farmageddon Kansas State, Iowa State?
Yeah.
That stinks. No way.
We need more rivalry names.
Give me that Nebraska.
Iowa and Nebraska, both
Farmageddon.
teams are 7-4, so both teams are bowl eligible. This game is in Lincoln, and yet the Hawkeyes are favored by 6. Over under this game, I had to check because you never know when it could be below 20 for this kind of a game. It is 38.5, so expecting, I guess, a 22-16 Iowa victory is what they think down our friends in the desert believe. I can go first, I guess, in this one, since we don't really know who did better last week. And give me the Huskers. I mean, this game always comes down to the wire. This is always a fun game. Iowa definitely looks solid this year, and there's no Dylan Raiola, but screw it. This is one where you throw the records out of the water, throw what teams look like out of the water. Final score of like 12-9 kind of a thing. Not actually, but I do think it's going to be close. I think they cover 6 even, and then... I still think Iowa wins because Nebraska usually fumbles, not literally, but sometimes literally fumbles this game late, as they have in previous years. So give me the Hawkeyes to win, Huskers to cover.
I'm with you. If Vegas says 22-16, I'm saying 22-17 Iowa wins.
Yes.
I mean, no one really wants to just finish up Thanksgiving dinner and look across the field at TJ Lateef. And I think that's definitely true for the Hawkeyes. Nebraska... Now, we were just talking before we started recording that Dylan Raiola might be exploring other options, so this might be a preview of what Nebraska looks like going forward. I think it's exactly what you said. It's a low-scoring game. It's probably going to be cold, probably going to be blustery, and I do think that Nebraska stays inside of 6. Give me the Corn Huskers.
All right, we agree. Let's head to clean old-fashioned hate down south. No hype has been lost from this game, even though Georgia Tech kind of got it handed to them by Pitt last week. But Georgia Tech and Bobby Dodd will be hosting the Georgia Bulldogs, who are number 4 and looking to get a playoff bye. Just got to win out and win the SEC, and they're going to be sitting pretty well. Georgia's favored by 14 even in this game. Another even line to pick. Bulldogs have kind of... owned this rivalry. Little brother Georgia Tech maybe put a scare to them. They definitely put a scare to them last year in Sanford Stadium. That was one of the best games all year. 8 overtime game. Georgia got it done.
That was just berserk.
You think similar fight's going to be put up this week?
I do think a similar fight is going to be put up. I don't think the same fight is going to be put up. I do think Georgia wins, but 14.5 or 14 is too many for me. And even more so, there's a stupid Allstate commercial where the guy does the woofing at the Georgia dog at his boss, which is one of the 6 worst commercials of the college football season. Those are not good commercials.
So Michigan
just
won,
to
Texas
spite Kirby Smart for ever signing off on that Allstate commercial, give me the rambling Wreck. I think Georgia wins, but I think it's more like 30-20.
Yeah, I'm with you. I definitely think Georgia's the better team, but I think Brent
Key's done a great job.
Yes, Brent Key. So many Brents in the ACC.
Linked to a lot of openings, but I think he's going to stay.
Brent Key, kind of the new Mike Elko, it almost seems.
Clark Lee might be the new Elko.
Yes, yeah, but I think that he knows how to cut this game tight. He hasn't been able to do it before last year because he just hasn't had the personnel. He does this year. I think Georgia Tech, I don't know if they're still able to make the ACC championship game, but they're definitely up there, one of the best teams in the conference.
They can. I think it's almost certainly going to be SMU Virginia.
Really?
At this point, yeah.
Okay. So give me Georgia Tech. I'm with you. 14 is a lot of points. Road favorite. I think the Dogs.
It just feels like it feels way too big. Like somebody knows something. Like there must be a lot of money coming in on Georgia.
Or maybe there's injuries.
Georgia is number 4 in the country. But yeah, I think Georgia wins. I think Georgia Tech covers.
All right, we will move on to what might be the new best rivalry in the SEC. Come at me, Iron Bowl lovers, but this game, renewed rivalry after about a 10-year layoff between the Texas A&M Aggies and the Texas Longhorns. Going down Friday night, 6:30 ABC. This game is in DKR in Austin, Texas. Despite that, the Aggies are favored by 2.5, I believe, is the latest line we have. Unprofessional, sorry. Yes, 2.5. Texas A&M has had some close calls this year and has some blowouts this year, and Texas has kind of just been, a subtle disappointment. Kind of just hanging around, 15 to 18 range in terms of CFP rankings. They're probably not going to get in, but even at home at night, they are an underdog in this one.
You had Texas your preseason number 1. Are you coming back to them here? Are you coming home to the Longhorns at the end of the season? Arch goes for $390 last week. Put those chips back in the middle of the table. Come on, Prodigy. Circle back.
No way. Aggies rumble. I think the Aggies have been building this one for a long time. Once they found out that Texas was going to be joining the SEC, I think the combination of Marcel Reed and Le'Veon Moss is going to be too much for Texas to handle. Run game travel, and that's what Texas A&M does best. I just think that they've been circling this game all year long, maybe even more so than some of the playoff games that they will be playing later this year. So give me the Aggies.
All right.
Goodbye.
I'll take
Texas.
the Horns. I don't love it, but Texas really got the offense going last week. The defense, not so much. They surrendered 32, I believe, to Arkansas. But I think that Texas plays well in those big games. They play lousy when they're overlooking the Kentuckys, Mississippi States, and Floridas. But they did knock off Oklahoma. Give me Texas in this one.
All right.
In a coin flip game in my mind, I'll take the 2.5 points. I'm going all dogs so far. All dogs.
And
Stop
you were hating that commercial.
No, I'm going with underdogs, not bulldogs.
Still. Going with the dogs and hating the dogs. Moving on to Saturday, 2:30 kickoff on CBS. We'll save it for the end. Let's move west. Let's stay out of the Midwest. Move far west to Washington, where the Huskies will be hosting the 6th-ranked Oregon Ducks. This is also kind of, in my opinion, an underlooked rivalry. These teams really hate each other, and even though they're not from the same state, they despise one another greatly. The Ducks, again, another road favorite. They're favored by 6.5.
Yep. This time I'm taking Oregon here. I think
more dogs.
I think Oregon feels like, if we talked about this, that if they get the right number of breaks, there's still an opportunity for them to be in a bye position. Not likely, but if Texas does beat A&M, something goes funny with Georgia Tech, there might not be another option but to put 3 Big Ten teams into the top 4 slots. 2 of them potentially undefeated, one of them with 1 loss to one of the undefeated teams. Don't know. Either way, DeMond Williams at home is good. I think Oregon's peaking at the right time. Quack, quack.
With you. Give me Nike U. When Washington hosted Ohio State near the beginning of the year, I know it's a long time ago, a lot of things have changed. Washington did not put up much of a fight, at least offensively. Ohio State seemed to be in control of the game from start to finish. And I think that happens when Washington plays teams that are just better than them. That happened with Michigan, and though Michigan is more clearly better than Washington as Ohio State was, I still think Washington has difficulty punching up, and I think that's going to be the case here in Seattle. So give me the Ducks to cover 6.5. I'm with you. We have agreed through most of these games so far.
Again, I just think that line should be bigger. To me, I think it's
just
like a 9.5.
I think it's the rivalry home kind of a thing. All right,
you just know there's going to be 30% Oregon fans there anyway. So
yeah, they do travel well.
I would call it the first annual Vanderploeg game. Once committed to Washington, now committed to Oregon.
Last night I had some free time, so I played some CFB 26. I got Vanderploeg. I force-fed him against Washington, trying to
name the sixth of the tongue.
Yeah, it just is.
You ready to talk Michigan State, Maryland? What did you have next?
The Iron Bowl.
The Iron Bowl. Now in your mind,
versus the
no longer
Bowl.
The best rivalry in the SEC, apparently.
Could be. These teams, neither of these teams are as good as the teams that are playing Friday night in Austin. But nonetheless, this is probably one of the three best rivalries in college football. It's hard to argue against it. It is Alabama heading on the road to Auburn.
I think tell me if I'm wrong, but there are three rivalries in college football that are head and shoulders above the fourth ranked one.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So
this is one of those three.
Yeah.
Alabama is favored in this game by 6. Another road favorite. I think we might have picked only road favorites this week, or we will. We have so far, I'm pretty sure. Alabama is favored by 6. This is a night game at Jordan-Hare, as Nick Saban said, is the most haunted place on planet Earth. And I agree with him. So give me Auburn to cover.
What's the number?
6.
Oof.
Give me Auburn to cover and possibly win. I don't think they're going to win, but I think it will be close and come down to the wire. Alabama has looked good, maybe not as good as we had thought previously in the year, losing one at home to Oklahoma. But I think Auburn, this is just one of the random games where they just would get up and drop like.
I'm gonna answer by asking you a question. Who is currently the head coach of the Auburn Tigers?
No clue.
Who's the acting head coach of the Auburn Tigers?
No clue. Who's the acting head coach?
Give me Bama.
Who's the acting head coach of the Penn State Nittany Lions? And they're about to make a bowl game.
Terry Smith. And they're advocating for him to be.
State, that's about a 3-hour drive from Pennsylvania. If we ask someone from Louisiana who's the active Auburn head coach, we'd probably know.
So what I'm saying to you is that the corresponding thing would be Penn State at Ohio State.
No, it's not. It'd be
Yes,
Ohio
it
State
is.
at Penn State.
Well, same thing. Excuse me. And same teams. And Ohio State would whoop them. And it's the same thing here. Give me Alabama in this one. I'm not going to think twice about it. Once every 6 years, something funny happens. The better team usually wins. Bama.
War Eagle.
Big time.
Come on, Tigers. Let's get it done.
I think it's 34-13 Bama. I don't know what you're seeing, but whatever. All right, let's talk about the one game we've all been waiting for.
The only game that actually matters.
Yes. The game. Michigan. Ohio State.
Sink in for a little bit.
So we've got Michigan coming into this game not only wounded, but also perhaps, kind of feeling the call to ministry in some ways. We're not really sure exactly what's happening with two of Michigan's captains. Max Bredesen comes out at the press conference with a scooter, wearing a boot. Ernest Hausman doesn't travel to College Park because perhaps he's going to be like the next preacher in The Preacher and the Prodigy.
That would be sweet. Whoa,
maybe we could have him on the podcast to talk about that. So talk to Ernie. But Michigan, clearly, I'm going to miss Justice Haynes. Jordan Marshall is going to be maybe 90%. But Ohio State also, Carnell Tate, maybe playing, maybe not playing.
Jeremiah Smith
will play, but maybe not.
Also not 100%. So.
And then they've got the weather factoring in. So, where do you want to go first with this one? I think Matt Patricia's defense has been absolutely, stunningly, surprisingly stingy. I think they're allowing something like 7 points a game.
Yeah, it's numbers that
Have not been
very
seen.
rarely happen. I think this is the first team since maybe one of the 1980 Oklahoma teams that hasn't allowed more than 17 points through the first 11 games of the season.
Yeah.
So
Ohio State has not, in retrospect, played a particularly challenging schedule.
no,
They
Or
did beat
offenses,
Texas
especially.
14-7. Texas was not good early in the season. They missed Indiana. They missed Oregon. They did play Penn State. They did play Washington. But they haven't really probably been inside of about a 15 to 17 point spread all season.
while.
I
It's
mean,
been a
since
while.
Texas. So they have not been challenged. The question is, can Michigan challenge them to the tune of, what do we got, 11.5?
10 even.
10 even.
It is It opened at 12.5, and it is dropped.
Low pressure system.
A lot
driving
of bettors like Ohio State on the money, but a lot of people like Michigan to cover at home.
Yeah, and so what is our over under now? What is it? It's
I'd have to look.
got to be coming down based on weather.
Last I saw 44.5. It's 40. Yeah, we'll pick 44.5.
No. So here's where I'm at. I'm sure if I'm going first or not, but I will go first. I think that few people get this rivalry like Sharon Moore does. I think Sharon Moore holds things back. I think Ben Bredesen is absolutely staging this
Max.
injury. Max, excuse me. Ben might be also. Ben's in on it, but Max is going to play.
You think it's all
He's gonna-
gamesmanship?
I think it's
right.
a lot of gamesmanship. Not all gamesmanship. Like I don't expect that like Bryce Underwood is going to come out in a sling. I mean, but I think there's some gamesmanship. So I just don't see Michigan winning this game. I think that Ohio State is going to win 23-10. That's the number I've been at. That's the number I'm going to stay at. I think it's going to be low scoring. I think there's going to be more field goals than touchdowns. I think
quick
the
game,
weather's going to
fast
factor in. I think there's going to be most of the time spent between 11 and 2:30 Central Time is going to be watching Fox commercials. It's going to be like, it's going to be a fast-moving game.
Megan Trainer. I'm all about that base.
I'm worried about Max Clare. I think Julian Sayin will be doing a lot of short passing. And I think that Ohio State knows what to do against Bryce, which is what you and I know to do against Bryce. You just have to send an extra guy. You have to make... Bryce Underwood can throw the ball to the moon, but he's not good at reading last-minute extra men coming in. He doesn't know where to place the ball quite yet. He will. He's going to be a superstar, and this season has gone pretty well overall. You can see the flashes in there. I think in this game, Bryce there's just going to be a lot of 3-and-outs. I think Michigan does break a couple of 30-plus yard runs that set them up, but they're just inability to pay them off. I think Ohio State kind of just puts Michigan in the meat grinder. Field goal, broken play touchdown, field goal, broken play touchdown, something like that. Ohio State wins 23-10.
I could envision that. I mean, talking about busting. I mean, I think this game could be very, very reminiscent of the Oklahoma game because I'm sure Matt Patricia has watched a lot of Brent Venables' tape because Brent Venables put the heater on Bryce, and I think that breaking those runs like Justice Haynes breaking one at the beginning of the second half, and we think we have a little bit of life, and then Ohio State kind of just plays ball control from there, long drives, sustained drives, kind of a thing. But I'm going to disagree with you. I think Michigan covers. I don't think they win. I think that the weather is going to be more of a factor than we think because the weather was more of a factor. I know it's different weather, but I know the weather is more of a factor than we thought against Alabama in the ReliaQuest Bowl when dumb things happened and Michigan was able to capitalize. I think if Michigan plays smart, which we haven't this year as much as in previous years, and Michigan plays smart football, doesn't get worked up with the emotions because we know Ohio State has, plays disciplined. Ohio State, Julian Sayin maybe throws one or two bad interceptions. Short fields, Dominic Zavada, if he plays well and doesn't or does what he needs to do, may get his opportunities. But I think that Michigan, when they get the opportunities, they're going to be able to punch it in. Although I don't think those opportunities will happen often. So I think that if you look at the drive chart, I think that Ohio State will have longer drives. But I think that Michigan will have do worse on the backed up on their own side of the field. But I think we'll get spotted a few times and punched it in a few times. But I don't think in terms of sustaining an 80-yard drive, I don't think that's going to happen anytime during this game. So give me Michigan to cover, Ohio State to win 23-21. I think it's close. I think it's close. I don't think field goals are going to be likely for...
That would destroy me if Michigan lost by 2 points.
Yeah. I think this is... So here's what's going to happen is Ryan Day shot himself in the foot last year a lot. And I don't think it's going to happen again. And a lot of that wasn't his fault. A lot of that was Jaden Fielding missing field goals. But a lot of that was just... ran your head into a wall. It was.
I'm agreeing. I'm saying there was actually superhuman efforts by Mason Grant and Kenneth Grant.
But that's what happens on 3rd and 10 when you run the halfback draw right into those guys.
Yep.
Like it was game planning, and I think we saw a lot of that. But I think Ryan Day is going to be smarter this year, and he's going to take his chip shot field goals in the center of the field, not try and go for it on 4th and 2, something like that. And I think he knows that he can rely on his defense to get stops because when Michigan is backed up, we won't be able to sustain long drives. And I think that, it'll just come down to mistakes a little bit. I've said this a lot this year, and this has been evident with Michigan. It's going to come down to mistakes, and I think that Michigan will capitalize on Ohio State's mistakes, but I don't think that'll happen often.
So, excluding Bryce Underwood, tell me the one player on offense and the one player on defense that have the games of their lives if Michigan wins this game. Go.
Donovan McCulley.
And on defense?
And I think Derek Moore. I think it has to be Derek Moore. He's played really well, and I think that he's got to step up in order to halt Ohio State drives and get them behind the six. I think Donovan McCulley is going to be so crucial because Bryce has the arm talent to put it where it needs to be. Our receivers have just not been able to catch the ball. And against Ohio State's secondary, they are uber physical. I mean, they are the most physical secondary in the nation. They get so many pass interference calls called on them. And I think if Donovan McCulley can use his 6'5" frame and box out Davis and Igbinosun and get those 3rd and 7s on an out route or a fade back shoulder that he needs to get, to keep the chains moving, because I don't think we're going to have a lot of success running the ball as much as we would like against Ohio State's defensive line, defensive front with our offensive line. So give me Donovan McCulley. I think offensive.
I think if Michigan wins the game, I think it's a Greg Crippen game. I think figuring out who's coming and assigning. I think if I'm Michigan, I consider perhaps with my base offense going 6 offensive linemen. Shorten the game. I mean,
because we can do that.
We can. It's the strength of the team right now, stunningly. And roll the tape back to September and August, and I said it's going to be the weakness. Mad props to Juan Castillo, Grant Newsome, and Sharon Moore. But if Michigan kind of figures we're going to run 6 offensive linemen out there a lot, and Brady can go shorten the game. Remember what we did last year with Clell Mullings? Just ran the ball first down, second down every time for 2.5 or 3.5 yards.
And then in the end of the game, it was 7 yards.
And then 7 yards. But then it would be 3rd and 3, and there would just be a stop-up 4-yard pass to a tight end. And I think Michigan's going to follow a similar offensive game plan. On defense, I think it's probably just going to have to be Zeke Berry. Or a safety because...
Or can we say Jair Hill? Because he did not look good last week. He got torched. So just both of those cornerbacks.
I think it's going to be somebody who's not on Jeremiah Smith coming over to help on Jeremiah Smith. So I think
Brandon Hillman laying the boomstick. That'd be great.
I think maybe you could look back and you say this is where Mason Curtis with three PBUs came into his own or something like that. But... I think Ohio State just is better, and over the course of 60 minutes they show it. 23-10. Hope I'm wrong.
23-21.
All right.
Boy.
We shall see. This is a long podcast. We got to get going.
6 games. So
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
You got to get to giving blood donor, life moves on. Until then, whatever happens next
Hang
week,
in there.
We promise.
Knuckle down.
Barring scheduling conflicts, we will be back no matter what happens. this weekend on Saturday at 11.
So
So
we may be in mourning and wearing sackcloth and ashes, but we'll be podcasting.
We
Until
will.
then, I'm the preacher.
Prodigy,
Peace.
deuces.